If you think there's not much to see on this year's Google Pixels, well, I was thinking the same thing on my quick bridge and tunnel ride into the company's Pier 57 offices in Manhattan. But after a couple hours with the new Pixels, I'm happy to report that we were both wrong. I'm Mr. Mobile, and this is the new face of Android. Now, I didn't film everything because there was simply too much for one man to cover, so I'm just going to hit the stuff I found critical, commencing with color. As usual, the expensive stuff gets the shaft, making do with the muted shades every company, except Motorola, maintains is what the rich people actually want. As a consolation prize, the base model comes in an alluring indigo that recalls the really blue finish of that first Google Pixel from 2016, as well as a lemongrass that brightens my day like the Lysol spray it reminds me of. Then there's black and white, and a pretty cool moonstone version of gray that Google settled on for the Pro models. Fun fact, some moon rocks were magnetic, and now, finally, your Android phone can be as well. Most people are going to say we've been waiting 5 years for this, because that's when Apple introduced MagSafe in the iPhone 12. But this old-timer, well, he's waited for this magnetic moment since he was forced off the Palm Pre back in 2011. It's been a long time, but our time is finally here. Google calls this PixelSnap, and it's essentially MagSafe for Android, built on the Qi 2 standard with magnetic power profile support. And what that means is you can toss your existing MagSafe battery packs and accessories right on there. Or you can snap up one of Google's new PixelSnap accessories. Yes, it's on the foldable too, thank Gauss. And not to worry, smaller spenders get in on the fun too. The whole lineup is magnetic.
Nice.
With the only outperformer being the Pro XL. On this biggest of the slabs, Qi 2.2 boosts wireless charging speed from 15 to 25 watts, a significant upgrade made possible by its better thermal performance. Finally, you can use your MagSafe batteries, wallets, car mounts, tripods, stands on an Android phone without the clutter of a clunky case. And with Google having now set the bar, I hope other OEMs finally see it as one to meet on their phones going forward. I want to move on to the Pixel 10 Pro Fold, which, looks a bit pedestrian alongside the sleek new Samsung Galaxy Fold 7. But again, today is about what's inside. Namely, a more impact-resistant display and a steel hinge that relies on special cams instead of gears to create friction. The mechanism feels quite similar to the 9 Pro Fold I carried for much of the past year, but this one boasts a rating no foldable has ever achieved, IP68, the 6 denoting a dust-tight device. I was reading up on what dust-tight actually means, and apparently, to achieve that rating, the phone is sealed in a chamber, all the air inside the phone is pumped out, and talcum powder is blasted into the chamber for 8 hours. If the phone keeps dust out for the whole test, it earns the 6. This has been the norm for slab phones for years, but it's huge to see this rating finally come to foldables, eliminating one more point of concern for those considering the jump from a conventional phone. Other improvements are de rigueur, but no less welcome. A slightly bigger battery, a new instant view mode that lets you view the photos you shot instantly, and yet more multiple ways to task. Oh, and I'm very curious about the new Pixel Journal. I have a lot of questions about both the privacy and portability of the data contained within this new app, but as with PixelSnap, Google seems to be keeping in mind those considering a switch from iPhone and providing alternatives to iOS features wherever it can. Now, sadly, the Fold still packs downgraded ultra-wide and telephoto camera specs compared to its slab siblings, which, on paper at least, frankly sucks when you're talking about a phone that costs $1,799 versus $1,199, $999, and $799 for the non-folding options. But on the bright side, the Fold is the only Pixel 10 that will continue to offer a physical SIM slot in the US. its stablemates transitioning to eSIM only, in a move that I doubt Google will be able to justify any better than Apple did. Whether it's to accommodate the American flavor of millimeter wave 5G or just to placate the carriers, I don't like it. And I'll talk more about that in the full reviews. Until then, there's one more technological talisman to touch upon, and it comes packed in the box with this. For the third time in 4 generations, Google has changed the way the Pixel Watch charges. But, I don't mind so much because this, well, look, to me it just makes sense. I love a charger that doubles as a watch stand. And the one downside I was afraid of, big ugly charging contacts on the watch, are neither big nor ugly. Also, I'm not sure if this is new, but I love that the watch is smart enough to tell you if you forgot to plug the other end of the charger into the wall when you dock it. The Pixel Watch 4 itself is familiar. You get a few color options in 41 or 45 millimeter case sizes with a digital crown and 2 o'clock pusher and Gorilla Glass 5 instead of the sapphire I'd prefer. But going with Corning presumably kept the costs under control, especially considering the dramatic dome shape this particular Pixel demands. And, for the first time, Google has curved the display underneath as well. So it finally starts to deliver on the speculative renders that came out before the first Pixel Watch that saw all of us nerds drooling over the possibility of a waterfall watch face, 360 degrees around. I love this slow, steady iteration toward a truly futuristic-looking wearable. In the same vein, I got my first look at Google's Material 3 interface for Wear OS, which is far more visually cohesive than Samsung's interpretation on the Galaxy Watch I just reviewed. There's also hands-free Gemini access when you raise your wrist, something to be thankful for even if you don't use Google's AI assistant, because its inclusion prompted the company to enhance the haptics and speakerphone as well. And finally, there's standalone satellite SOS to let you call for help even if you're totally off the grid. It's something rumored but not yet confirmed for the new Apple Watch. If I sound bullish on the new Pixels, I am. Google is combining defensive feature additions with an early lead in consumer AI, and it's doubling down on well-received hardware to deliver a reasonably priced portfolio that's easier to recommend with each passing year. If 2024 cemented Google's apparent commitment to its mobile ecosystem, 2025 adds momentum to the equation, while also reinforcing the perception that sometimes Google actually can stay focused long enough to make forward progress in hardware. The full story, good and bad, will as always come in the reviews. But today, on debut day, I think it's looking pretty good for the Pixel 10 family. Let me know where you want me to review the new Pixels or what you want to know about them. The comments are open, and as this video hits the feed, I'm posting like a madman live from the Made by Google launch event on Threads at Captain Two Phones. Google provided transportation to attend the content capture and press events this week, but as always, no manufacturer received copy approval, an early preview, or any editorial input into this video. The company is a subject, not a sponsor. Please subscribe to the Mr. Mobile on YouTube if you'd like to see more videos like this. Until next time, from Michael Fisher, thanks for watching. And stay mobile, my friends.